twisted type of tubule is vagina or cervix. I'm not a veterinarian, so it's somewhere around there, vagina or cervix. But then, in fact, I got to do something here.
Oh my God!
But then something weird happens. Human, as you saw the pictures, kind of had a uterus that looked a little like a pear, and then it had the two tubes coming off, right? The oviducts. The pig uterus isn't like a pear, it's like a cervix or a vagina, and then two uteruses that go off, and they're called uterine horns, because pigs have a lot of babies at once, so the babies don't just grow up in one compartment, there's actually two going left and right, but they're not oviducts, it's uterus, so it kind of has a Y shape. And here is the bottom of the Y, and then look where my hand goes, here's where it splits off, you see that? Splits off. Now it has a little more form just when you see my hand coming through the underside. So you see this tube that's kind of thick and wrinkly? That's the uterine horn, and it spirals, so it gets a little twisty, and it's confusing to students. Do you see this big thing, like a big snake almost? That's the it's uterus, but uterine horn, for a pig. Can you see, Christine? If you want to get behind.
Okay.
I'll
just do it after.
Okay, alrighty. So this is uterus, and then the outer layer of the uterus, what do you think this outer layer is?
The
Outer, what was it?
Around.
Around the uterus would be, what means around? Perimetrium. That's the perimetrium. And then on the inside of the uterus is the endometrium. I'm not sure where's the myometrium, but we don't have to know that, okay? So para's on the outside, endo's on the inside. Para and endo. So these are not oviducts. I know it looks like the one's going left, one's going right. This is uterus. So if we kept following this uterus, what ultimately should we...
Cervix?
No, cervix would be back the other way.
Oh, we're going up.
Going up.
Okay.
Before the ovaries, I should... The fallopian tubes, you're right. So I'm just kind of following it up. It's a little hard to see, so make sure you're staying tuned. I'm sorry, did I get you?
It's fine.
Yeah. Look at right there. What's going on? See the uterus? What's it turning into?
Fallopian tube.
A fallopian tube. And what do you think that lumpy thing is right there?
Ligament.
No, that's the ovary.
Ligament.
That lumpy thing is the ovary.
Ovary.
It's the ovary.
Finger thingies.
The finger thingy is this hood. Okay, you see it's like a hood? See, there's the oviduct right there, zigzagging. And then, remember the feathery thing's supposed to catch the egg and like draw it in. Well, instead of a feathery thing, it's just like a hood over the ovary. And it's going to catch the egg, and it's going to direct it into that tube. And you see the tube goes here. See that? Is everyone with me on that oviduct, the fallopian tube? It's kind of zigzaggy. And then here I'm going to pull... Here's where it kind of goes into the uterus. So it should be clear to everybody. Okay, so ovary, fimbriae, all this, it's not feathery so much as like a hoodie. Are you with me? And then you can kind of see the oviduct starting, the zigzaggy tube. It kind of straightens out, and then it gets real wide, and at this point we would call it uterus.
Okay.
Now, the perimetrium, the myometrium, and the placenta. Not to be confused with endometrium, not myometrium. This is the endometrium in the middle. Sorry, thinking out loud. The placenta, keeping my words straight, the placenta looks like endometrium, but it hangs out, and there's some placenta there. So
You'll have that pant with something.
yeah. Well, if I put a pin through this, it'd be placenta. If I just put a pin through that endometrium, it would be endometrium. Okay, so that's where students have trouble. So ovary, fimbriae, oviduct, or fallopian.
Okay, the oviduct is the little wavy part
Yeah, that wavy tube, but there is a kind of a straighter section. I've kind of isolated it a little bit.
Okay, and it runs down into the fallopian tube.
This is the fallopian tube. And then it ultimately becomes
The uterus.
the uterus,
gotcha.
like right there.
Okay.
It widens out into the uterus. So the egg, before it made these piglets, this is a pregnant uterus, the egg came out of there, it was caught by that hoodie thing, and it went into the tube, it was fertilized in the tube, and all those little embryos made their way and implanted into this uterus, and we have a bunch of piglets. In fact, I think I just passed up the one that remains. They had this uterus when I...
Oh, what?
Hey, what?
It's a baby piglet.
It's right here. This
Cut it
part-
open.
well, I've got tons of piglets.
Cut it open!
Katie,
Cut it open!
You're a science major, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Okay.
Got to show you the piglet because the umbilical cord, I think, is on the blue sheet, so...
Like mice questions.
Okay, a little bit.